They said it was just a comet, but when does
September 12, 2025, astronomers spot something impossible, a colossal object streaking in from deep space. Its tail stretching 5 times the width of a full moon, dwarfing anything seen since Oumuamua. Within hours, a second visitor is confirmed, both racing toward the sun for a close pass mere weeks apart, yet arriving from opposite corners of the sky. The odds of this cosmic double entry are, according to experts, astronomical. The official story, twin comets, but the evidence points to something deliberately engineered. A bigger mystery object now entering our solar system with a mission nobody can explain. Is this an interstellar accident or the first move in a secret operation that's been triggered by us? The answer starts right here. On September 12, 2025, the SH spacecraft's Swan instrument caught something that stopped astronomers cold. A new object, bright and unmistakable, blazing through the solar system. A tail stretching nearly 2-way cirque across the sky, about 5 times the width of a full moon. That kind of scale is unheard of for a newly discovered comet. By September 13th, the International Astronomical Union had made it official, naming the object C-2025R2 with the tag Swan. As WAN was physically dominating the inner solar system in a way that hadn't been seen since the days of Hale-Bopp or even further back. C-2025R2, now officially known as Swan, is not the only newcomer drawing attention this October. Just days before its discovery, another object, 3I Atlas, was already inbound, making its own approach from a completely different sector of the sky. Swan's path traces back through Aquarius, while Atlas entered from the direction of Sagittarius. On a star map, these two arrival vectors are separated by more than a quarter of the celestial sphere. Yet both objects are set to reach their closest point to the Sun perihelion within the same 10-day window. For Swan, that moment comes around October 20th at a solar distance of about 150 million kilometers. For Atlas, it is October 17th, just 3 days earlier, skimming past the Sun at roughly 203 million kilometers. The geometry is striking. Both objects are on steeply inclined orbits, with Swan's path tilted more than 60 cirque off the ecliptic and Atlas nearly perpendicular to the plane of the planets. The odds of both crossing the inner solar system at almost the same time and at such similar solar distances by chance alone are vanishingly small. The timing adds another layer. As both Swan and Atlas sweep through their closest solar approach, Earth's telescopes are effectively blinded. From October 8th to 18th, the sun's glare blocks direct observation, creating a blackout window that covers the critical days when any unusual behavior would be most visible. This means the moment of closest proximity both to the sun and to each other happens just out of reach, with no way for ground-based observers to watch events unfold in real time. To get two such objects from such widely separated origins hitting perihelion within days and at nearly the same solar distance, all during a period when the sun itself shields them from view, defies the usual expectations of chance. In the language of orbital dynamics, this is a corridor, a narrow window in space and time that both objects occupy together. Whether it is coincidence, a hidden link, or something engineered remains an open question, but the geometry alone is enough to make even the most skeptical astronomer pause. 3-1. Atlas first drew attention not for its brightness, but for the way it broke the rules. Early spectrographs reported something that set off alarms, a body dominated by nickel with virtually no iron in the mix. This runs counter to everything known about comets. Instead of the classic water vapor signature, 3I Atlas's coma pumped out carbon dioxide at rates 5 times higher than water. What couldn't be explained away easily was the tail's behavior. Observers noticed a pattern, 3 distinct accelerations, each spaced about 2 weeks apart, each coinciding with a sharp change in tail color. These so-called delta-5 pulses weren't smooth like the gradual push from solar heating. They came on fast, then faded as if the object had fired a thruster. If the observed accelerations were real, the implied power source inside Atlas would need to deliver something on the order of 10 gigawatt, about the output of 10 large nuclear plants. The gaps, especially the nickel-on spectrum and the stepwise accelerations, have kept the engineered object hypothesis alive. See 2025 R2, now simply called Swan, stands in a league of its own. A tail stretching 2.5 circ, and a core that, if the wildest estimates are even close, could be pumping out 10,000 gigawatt of energy. That's more raw output than the entire power grid of Earth. Claims are coming from the fringes that Swan is armored, shielded, and powered in ways that stretch the limits of current physics. Swan's core reflects light with a sharp metallic signature. Some amateur spectroscopists argue this matches a nickel-cobalt blend, the nickel-cobalt hull theory. Then came the reports of a persistent silvery halo around the nucleus, shifting in pattern and intensity. To some, it looked like a plasma envelope, a kind of electromagnetic shield. That's where the nickname Fortress comes from. Unlike 3I Atlas, which acts more like a drone, Swan presents as a tank. The tail pulses with micro-thrusts that defy simple outgassing models, suggesting course corrections with precision bursts of plasma. The orbital numbers add another layer. Swan is on a path that will take it around the Sun once every 22,554 years. If this object is engineered, it's been on a preset course for longer than human civilization has existed. Every major anomaly logged for Swan and 3I Atlas has turned the conversation from what these objects are to what they might be doing. The timing, geometry, and blackout window have all fueled a wave of mission theories. One possibility is a scheduled maintenance or refueling run, with the Sun acting as a pit stop for recharging or data handoff. Another theory is less peaceful. The close approach could be an intervention to recover or neutralize a unit, or a contest between rival factions. The high power levels, 10 gigawatts for Atlas, 10,000 gigawatts for Swan, suggest energy reserves for active maneuvering. A third is the audit chain scenario. Oumuamua, Atlas, and Swan could represent escalating responses to Earth's century of radio transmissions. The 22,554-year orbit reaches deep into the last ice age around 20,000 BC. This same epoch left its mark in the ice cores. At the heart of this idea is Göbekli Tepe, built more than 11,000 years ago. A handful of theorists argue that the carvings on its stone pillars record cycles far longer than a human lifetime, maybe even marking the return of something like Swan. From October 8th to 18th, every major ground-based observatory faces a hard stop. Internal memos from U.S. Space Command and the European Space Agency direct teams to suspend all radar and high-resolution imaging of both Swan and 3I Atlas during this blackout. The result is a forced silence at the very moment when the two most unusual visitors in decades cross the Sun's glare, leaving only a narrow band of independent astronomers and amateur networks to fill the gap. When the blackout orders hit, the official channels went silent, but the amateur networks did not. Bill Gray, a veteran tracker, started rallying a distributed web of backyard astronomers and small observatories. His call, keep your scopes on the sky, log every flicker, and share the raw data before it disappears. The grassroots effort became the only line of defense against a total information vacuum. The blackout window wasn't just a challenge, it was an invitation. The facts are clear. Two anomalous objects entered the inner solar system together, defying statistical odds and raising questions no agency has answered. When Swan and Atlas re-emerge, the first signals might come from someone's backyard, not a government lab.